Right. So we can open the meeting. Just to state who we are, we're opening the meeting for general meeting. Can you state your name, please, and say you're here?
Pat Carlino here.
Sean Renier here.
David Consolati here. We have no minutes. We have no public hearings. Our general business starts with inholders licenses 2021 license renewal for the Chambéry Inn. This has been up before. There's 4 rooms. Pretty much no brainer.
Do you have that application in front of you, David?
I do.
Okay. Is it straightforward? No questions?
No questions.
Then I would move we approve the 2021 inholders license for Chambéry Inn.
I'll second motion.
All's in favor?
Do we have to do a roll call?
You do.
Pat Carlino, aye.
Sean Renier, aye.
David Consolati, aye. Next, we have a letter request from David Carlino. I will read the letter request.
Actually, Mr. Chair, if I may, I believe Mr. Carlino is here tonight.
He is. Okay.
And there he is.
There he is where?
Thank you, Chairman Consolati and members of the Select Board, for letting me speak to you about my best friend, Chief Russo. My name is David Carlino. A few weeks ago, Chief Russo was honored with a parade by his fellow police officers from across the state, an honor he deserved. After seeing the parade, it made me think of all the things Chief has done for the town of Lee and the people that live in it. While I may only be 11, Chief Russo has made a huge impact on my life. I first got to know Chief at school. He would come into our classroom to say hello, play different games with us in PE, and read to us in different classes. He would also speak to us at assemblies, talk to kids who were having a tough time, and make field days so much fun for every kid at the school. My favorite time with Chief was during the annual Rising Runners Run. Chief would get local and state police to close down the roads from the elementary school to the athletic field and run with the kids from the elementary school to the athletic field. When we would arrive at the field, Chief and the officers would play with the kids, award medals to us, and even have a snack with everyone. He made a point to every kid on that run to make them feel special. I know this because of Chief and his influence over me. I try to treat everyone the way he does, with kindness and respect. If Chief did so many wonderful things for the kids at Lee Public Schools, I can only imagine all of the things that he did for the people in the town of Lee and the people that he worked for and the people that worked for him. Because of that, I feel Chief is deserving of many honors to thank him for dedicating his life to the town of Lee and the people that live in it. My great-grandfather, Frank Consolati, contributed so much to the town of Lee that he had a street named after him. I feel Chief Russo had an enormous impact on the town as well. I would like to propose that a street in Lee be named Chief Russo Way. I have thought of a few places that this could happen, and I think that the driveway leading up to the elementary school and the driveway leading up to the middle and high school might be a great place. Chief Russo has spent a lot of time in both of these schools and is very proud of the work he has done here. I think that those streets make a great name. I think that those streets are great ones to be named after him. Thank you for your consideration, and I hope you can work together to make this happen for a very well-deserving retired chief. Chief, if you're watching, thanks for everything. Do you have any questions?
Thanks, David. It was very well done.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David. That was very nice. And very, Chief Russo is well-deserved of your praise. And I'm sure we can probably figure something out between now and 2 weeks from now when we've checked it all out and give you a definite answer, if you're okay with that.
All right.
Wheels of politics move very slowly, David. That's so. But I don't see any reason why we can't do this.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Al. Thank you very much. right, moving on. We have no pending business. Town administrator, discussion of open space and recreation plan update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I actually asked for this to be included on the agenda pursuant to a conversation that I had with Mrs. Hall from the Youth Commission, noting that it is the appropriate time to update the town's OSRP. And when we get into budget discussions at the end of the month, beginning of next month, I do plan to make provision for the update in the budget request. But I've asked, since she has more background on this than I have, asked Mrs. Hall to give a brief discussion on the SRP update.
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate David Carlino for that wonderful, wonderful letter. Oh, he's an amazing young man. So I will be brief, 10, 20 minutes should cover it. So I'd like to first start off with a award letter. It's the Open Space and Recreation Plan. And it's to Mr. Nason. Thank you for submitting Lee's Open Space and Recreation Plan to this office, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, for review for compliance with the current open space and recreation plan's requirements. I'm pleased to write that the plan is approved. This final approval will allow Lee to participate in DCS grant rounds through November 2022. And it's signed by Melissa Crean, who was in charge of this. So because of that, it is time to start thinking about updating our plan and submit it to the state for approval. When we did this in 2015, I'm saying we, it was a whole committee. It wasn't the Youth Commission. It was many, many people that looked this over. We had a plan in 2000. However, it was never submitted to the state. So in order for us to get grant money for our toddler playground, we had to submit the open space and recreation plan, which we did, but we did it in a month and a half. I would never, ever want us to do a big project like that in a month and a half. So I asked Chris if we certainly could get it started now. So the plan covers so many things, and it's a proposal. There was a task force, town boards and commissions, town of Lee staff, stakeholders consulted during the course of the projects, and regular consultants. So many people were involved with this. There was just to go over the table of contents, the introduction, the statement of purpose, community setting, giving all the details, our history of our population, environmental inventory and analysis. And through this, not only did we have that group, we also had Berkshire Regional Planning Commission help us, inventory of lands of conservation and recreation interest, community vision, analysis of needs, goals, and objectives, 7-year action plan, and public comments within that. When we did this project, the initial cost was $10,000. Mr. Nason was able to write a grant for $8,000 and was awarded that grant. So the town of Lee only had to pay $2,000 to get this document. The document is over, let's see, I don't know how many pages, because there are maps and all kinds of tables and charts and whatever. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, it's 71 pages in length, and all kinds of maps of our area, and all kinds of things dealing with wildlife and recreation areas that we have and what we're hoping to have, that sort of thing. So we're hoping at this point that the town is aware that we do need to have this open space and recreation plan updated by 2022, so that we can continue to get grant money from the state. And usually these grants require monies from the town as well, a municipality. So when we did our grant, the state paid 55%, the town paid 45%, and we got our toddler playground. The state awarded us a little bit more than $13,000. The unfortunate thing about that particular thing is each year you can only do one park. So like we have 5 parks. We couldn't do all 5. We couldn't do all 5 parks at the same time. They're individual things. So what we're hoping for, if indeed we do get the community center, that certainly would be a big, wonderful grant to write for the outdoor amenities. It does not include buildings, but those are federal funding things. But it's very important that we get the open space and rec plan. So that's it, unless you have questions.
Anybody else does?
Kathy,
Patty?
sorry, David. Kathy, I have just a quick question. I kind of lost what you were saying. So our last open space plan was done in what year?
2015, and it was approved in 2016.
Okay. And how often do we do that?
I think it's every 7 years, but in the
Okay.
letter, it says that it goes through November 2022.
Okay.
So it has to be in place before that because it'd have to be approved by that date
Right.
in order for us to get monies.
Okay. Thanks. I guess we better get going.
Yes, I think so.
Sean, do you have anything to add?
No, you said it was a month and a half last time, Kathy.
Yes,
And now we have
we have a year.
little over a year, sounds like. So I think we're in good shape if we get on this and make it happen. Yeah.
Right. And we did have wonderful people from the Berkshire Regional Planning Commission helping us get this all together. There were,
I would assume we'd use them again also.
yes,
Yeah.
because they worked very well with us. They know the town and they have all the data anyway that we need and the maps and all that stuff.
Good. Anything else?
I have a question for Chris. Since we're talking about open space and recreation plan, I'm wondering where we are with the master plan. If anybody knows what year, how long it's been since our last master plan. And then made me think of it when I saw that Lennox was reviewing theirs too. I think ours is pretty close there, Chris. I hate to tell you.
No, the irony of that specific example is the Lennox, the last iteration of the Lennox master plan was done 1 year before Lee's, and they're just finishing up their rewrite now. So we're about due for a rewrite as well. So
Okay. That should be on our notice the same way as the open space, I guess. And
yeah, I didn't put that on the agenda tonight, but I do owe a follow-up phone call to a couple of folks, some of whom are on this meeting. So I am cognizant of the town's need to update.
Hmm.
thanks.
Okay. Anything else, Sean?
Nope.
All right, so move on. Next, we're up to public comments. We have any?
Mr. Chair, I don't see anyone in the chat, and I don't see anyone raising their hand to speak. And I see everyone's video is shut off. I'll stall for a couple minutes in case anybody wants. I do see that we have 14 participants, but I don't know if any of them are looking to participate in public comment. I'm going to assume that after I've been talking that there is no one here for public comment. At least that's not indicated in the chat or on the screen.
Chris, if you're just trying to stall for a couple minutes, I just have a comment. I had to stop at town hall today and leave something in the lockbox downstairs. And as I haven't been there in a while, and as I looked to the right, I saw myself on camera. And I just wondered, when did we put in that system?
So it's an interface system that allows. Right now, it feeds to the town clerk's desk since he's the closest to the door. And if you stand in front of it after a moment, and it's written on the screen.
Yeah. No, I got out of it.
Yeah, it'll take your picture and communicate to folks in the office that we've seen this. I actually saw this at Berkshire Sterile when I had a meeting over there. This was pre-COVID, so given the state of the pandemic, it seemed like a good thing to implement it at Town Hall. So I know Lindsay Broom, Chris Britton, and some other folks here at Town Hall have brought that in as some technology to hopefully facilitate some better opportunities for folks, even though we're mostly closed down. To the extent that we can communicate with folks who come in the front door in a safe and effective way, we want to.
Yeah, no,
so it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress, admittedly.
Okay.
On a lighter note, all the the current Patriots fans should take a little bit of happiness from the fact that their former quarterback won the Super Bowl. So, whether he's not a Patriot anymore, but he did a heck of a job, and it was a nice win. So if we have nobody else trying to get in,
I don't see anyone, Mr. Chair.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
So you're looking for a second on that motion?
Yeah, move to adjourn to our next meeting, which is March 2nd at 7:00.
I'll take a second.
Second.
All those in favor, state your name.
Pat Carlino, aye.
Sean Renier, aye.
David Consolati, aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Everybody stay safe.